Alright, so we are back over here at Performance Research in Westerville, getting ready to run a little small block Ford 302 for a 1965 Mustang Coupe we're working on. Healthy little motor, nothing crazy, still running cast iron heads, mostly all stock internal stuff. Just looking for something that's going to be a street drivable little hot rod for a customer. So nothing totally crazy, we aren't expecting anything massive. But wanted to go ahead and film it so you guys can see what's what, and just another little peek behind the scenes of what we do. So, one of the reasons we are running these things on dynos is it gives us a chance to see what's what before we put it in the car. So, fortunately we did so, and we discovered we have a lifter that's not pumping up properly. This runs a hydraulic roller lifter, and one of them is just quite clattery and not working correctly. So, we're going to go ahead and replace all the lifters. We've got a brand new set of Ford Racing lifters we're going to toss in right now, so we're finishing off our disassembly right now. We're going to go ahead and show you that in time lapse, and then we'll get back to putting this thing back together, and we'll light it up and see how she does. Anytime you're going through an engine disassembly process, or even just some basic disassembly, keeping your parts organized is extremely important. You'll end up losing parts, you'll end up mismatching parts. It just can really frustrate you and add all kinds of extra time and pain to the rebuild process. So as you can see here, Joe and I are keeping kind of working in tandem here, keeping all of our parts organized, making sure everything is situated where it should be, so we can, when we go back together again, bring the parts directly back to where they were. Fortunately speaking, we discovered this issue before anything was catastrophically wrong with the motor. Unfortunately, even brand new parts fail. It is what it is. It's part of the business. And typically speaking, in our world, especially at Lucore Automotive, we're of the mindset that make your life easier and alleviate any future problems you may have. So, in this situation, we had one lifter that was bad. You could have bought one lifter and just tossed it back in there and called it a day. What we choose to do is, typically speaking, if we're starting a disassembly and we're getting there, while we're there, let's just go ahead and replace everything. So what we ended up doing was putting a new entire set of Ford Racing lifters back in this motor, so that way we can make sure that everything's brand new and everything's good. We don't have any problems there. And as you can see here, we had a little bit of a problem. We actually forgot the dog bones that sit underneath the intake manifold. So after putting the intake manifold on for just a moment, we had to replace those dog bones and cinch those back up. But otherwise, she went back together pretty calmly. There wasn't anything else that we really ran into. Everything else seemed clean and perfect. Nothing else we really ran into as far as issues. So assembly went pretty well. This is exactly why you run things on the dyno before you put them back in the car. As we have discovered previously, it's much easier to have an issue when it's sitting on a dyno cart and we can easily get to it, versus sticking it in between the fenders and running all kinds of problems and then disassembling it while it's sitting inside the car. So, a little bit painful process, but it's much better to handle it this way than it is to have to deal with it in the car.